The PopDoc AI use case we're going to highlight today focuses on allowing Claude to interact with data coming from our CRM and ERP. The goal is to conversationally allow someone, potentially on the finance side in this case, to ask questions about pipeline or CRM data, ultimately to get more insights and impacts on the financial side. What we have built inside of PopDoc AI, or what we have exposed, are a handful of tools that pull from different data sets from those two systems. So initially here, I'm going to load in my initial prompt, and I'm going to have Claude compare this month's opportunity pipeline with the opportunity forecast budget that is coming from my ERP for the month. So you can see that Claude is now reviewing the available tools that are in our MCP survey here, locating the ones that are needed to be used to really address this comparison. So it's really looking for a tool that pulls in information about opportunities from our CRM, and then we are comparing it with a budget detail tool that's pulling from our ERP, in this case Sage Intacct. You can see if I hit this drop down, you'll notice that it loads the different tools and it locates which tools are going to be used in order to create the analysis that I requested. So it's pulling a tool around open opportunities from our CRM and a tool around budget details from our Intacct or ERP. But as you can see, it provides a nice analysis. So you can see from the opportunity forecast budget in Intacct, this is the forecasted amount, $285,000. It's then reviewing our open pipeline from Salesforce or our CRM, and this could really be any CRM, but we're using Salesforce in this example, which we have open for the month, about $225,000. Based on those stages that the current opportunities are in, you can see that it's giving us a weighted probability or an expected value, and then identifying the gap. It's also providing information on the different opportunities that are open, so we can see the stages for all of those, who's the owner of those deals, when they're expected to close, provide some additional insight, and then also provide some recommendations that we can look into to close the gap. So we're going to continue this chat, and we're going to ask Claude to identify opportunities that we can try pulling forward from future pipeline. Okay, so it's now again utilizing that same tool, but refining the search for a different date range based on the different parameters that I've made available within this tool. So you can see that it does a couple of different variations, and then it's taking it one step further, and it's now trying to review overdue opportunities as well to generate a more thorough report. When you can see the reason that it made that change to look at overdue opportunities is it found that there was no current open opportunities scheduled to close in future months. So the pipeline was empty, which is why it then went and searched for slipped opportunities that we can try to pull forward. As you can see, as we scroll down here, a lot of these opportunities are stale or have slipped by quite a bit of time, but it's again given us recommendations based on what's currently available as opportunities within our CRM system. I think lastly what I want to do is identify opportunities that have had movement in the past month. So now I'm continuing that conversation to see if there's any opportunities that have had any movement. So fields that have changed, really just getting more insight as to what those changes have been, how recently they were last worked or had updates on them. So again, that we can use this analysis going forward to try to push forward with closing the opportunity pipeline that we have for the month. So you can see it gives kind of a breakdown of which opportunities were created, which ones had changes, some key takeaways that we can also analyze as well. At the very end, what I'm going to have it do is provide a one-page PDF summary of the findings that we can provide to our executive team. So inside of Claude, it's reviewing my E1 brand guidelines that I have a skill set up for to generate a document utilizing those brand guidelines. And the end result is it's really going to produce just a one-sheeter that we can provide really as an executive summary going forward that summarizes all of the findings of where we're currently at in terms of our pipeline compared to what we're forecasting for the month. And then some of those additional findings. Are there future deals that we can try to push forward? Are there future deals that we can try to move into this month's pipeline? Are there slipped deals that we can try to re-engage with to move forward? And then also, which of the deals that we've discussed have had any movement recently? So here we go. It just gives us a nice executive summary that we can provide and utilize going forward. So what I want to do is I want to jump into our PopDoc web application and just go quickly behind the scenes of how we generated the tools that were utilized in this example. So jumping into PopDoc here, if we go into MCP, you can see the different MCP servers that we've generated. The one that I'm currently utilizing is this one. If I go into tools here, I'm just going to search this down. You can see a bunch of the opportunity tools that I generated that are pulling information from Salesforce. And now tools inside of PopDoc AI are again really the functions or services that we enable through this MCP server to allow the AI client that is consuming this MCP server to interact with our business applications. So I had created a handful of these, just providing more information around open opportunity, field changes, tasks that were created. And then you can also see this is where I have the one that's pulling budget information from Sage Intacct in this case. But I'm going to jump into one of these just to show you the makeup. You can see that the makeup of these tools is really quite simple. The big thing is the different descriptions that we are providing at different levels that really allows the AI client to understand what this tool should be used for, when it should be used. And then you can see in my description here, I provided some common use cases for it as well. But once we've gone and provided that description, you're essentially selecting what data set or what endpoint we want to make available via this tool, which in this case, it is pulling opportunities. We then go into the parameters section. These are input validation that the tool can pass in to really refine the search of data that we're pulling from this endpoint. So I have a handful of different fields that I'm passing in depending on if I wanted to call an exact date or if I wanted to search on like a date range. So when I'm asking it for it to pull opportunities for the month, it's using a combination of these parameters like the close date from and the close date to provide that date range that identifies the dates within the month. But going into one of these, again, the big thing is providing a detailed description so that the AI client understands when to apply this parameter based on the prompt that I'm giving it. In addition to creating parameters, you can see that I also have a restriction on this list. Again, the idea of this specific tool is to pull open pipeline. So you can see that I'm filtering out any records that have a stage in a closed status. So again, providing a really refined search for this AI client so that it knows the exact records that I wanted to return as part of the response. Then the last component is selecting the response and the fields that I want as part of the response. We do have control over the response type. Right now I have the response type as a JSON list, and then I'm selecting what fields I want it to return from this opportunity endpoint. This is really important. As you can see, I'm not wasting the energy of the AI client to pull in a bunch of information that I don't need or that I don't want. This opportunity endpoint potentially contains hundreds of fields. Well, I'm only having it return 14 fields that really apply to the use case that I'm demonstrating inside of the AI client. So again, the goal of this demo is to allow someone potentially from finance to go inside of their AI client of choice and to really easily ask questions about information coming from their CRM, whether it's pipeline information or just CRM data in general, to gain more insights on information that affect the financials in the system that they work in. The key benefit is putting this CRM information in the hands of the finance team and empowering them to really gain insights without having to reach out to sales or jump into the solution that they typically don't spend their day in.